Right, okay, so we just had a little break. This is traumatic, this one, but people need to know. People need to know this. Is it in it? Right, so tell me all about the boat. Tell me what went on. Really, let yourself go and tell me what went on at that boat.
Beautiful boat, masses everywhere, sails.
Yeah.
Really, you look up and they don't seem to stop, with ropes and stuff. And then there's ropes at the front and everything, and a prank where you can to walk the prank. People used to walk the prank and jump into the sea in the Channel Islands.
Yeah, nice.
And stuff like that. Didn't have as much. You didn't have. We didn't water ski a lot like that, but we did jumped in the seas and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And stuff. And we got a lot of filming of the lads coming out, and they all were put into like see-through white shorts when they jumped in and they jumped out.
Where was all the film footage? Who got the film footage?
Well, I could never have had the film footage. Whoever paid for that film footage must have paid a lot of money for it being done, because it.
Well, you said to me when we had a break. You said I haven't said half of what happened now.
No.
Right.
No.
So let's have it. Tell us.
David Icke. Do you know, like most magicians, David Icke is really just an illusionist, magician, and a fraud. You know, but do you know, like most magicians, and you see them, they come on stage with their pocket watch and they go like that.
Hypnotists.
Hypnotise you. Icke has a famous party trick. He used to have a famous party trick that he did virtually every night and everything. And he deliberately get kids hypnotised.
He'd hypnotise them?
He'd hypnotise the kids physically, the kids and make them think.
So it's like, you see these hypnotists on these shows,
that's
and they get the
saying.
people, they don't know
he
what's
don't
happening.
need the pocket watch, don't David Icke. He's learned the arts of hypnotising and hypnotising. I don't know if he's learned it from BBC usually. You know, that's something they learned at BBC, but is it all through for the Masons? It's probably something his dad taught him or something, I don't know. But he's got the knack. He can hypnotise an whole crowd like a magician, and he can make you think anything because you're hypnotised.
And what sort of, how did he use it? What did he use it? Did he use it against the kids?
He used it on kids, and he'd get the boys tapped girl things out and stuff like that, and
yeah.
And then, so the lad, when it was being filmed, really enjoyed what was being done to him.
Yeah. And what was being done to him?
Well, he was being bunkered by the rest of the
males, the adults.
Everyone, including. Well, happened to me as well. I was put in trance as well, because he just thought it was good he thought it was good, and the other cameraman that were there, and I was with him. So because we had two cameras, and I did hold the camera, and I did take footage, and I'm ashamed of that, but I was trapped in that, and I was 15 years old, and I didn't know any better at the time and stuff, but I was also abused. I was being abused, and so like, it happened to me as well, the same things and stuff, and.
What else did you witness on the boat that was sort of became almost ordinary to you because of the world that you was put into, but to the public would shock? You know what I mean? So, you know, what things did you witness?
They get them doing all bizarre things and stuff like that. Like then.
What kind of bizarre things?
One time he got him holding off like a rope thing going to like. It's like a rope thing that goes into rows of squares, and you can climb the mast. And they had a 12-year-old lad hanging off it, dressed in. They got him dressing in women's tops and knickers and stuff like that, and they'd get all the lads to think there was women, and all the girls would play out the men. And sometimes the girls would give the dildo, tie on dildos to the girls, and the girls would do the men's parts to the lads at the backsides and stuff, and and sometimes you'd get the lads hanging from just hang there with the things because we're in the trans and everything, and they thought it was funny and everything.
Mm.
And then they'd be buggered, you know, by like, and Ike fucked one of the lads while he was holding there, 12-year-old lad, while he was hanging from this rope.
Did he?
Yeah, and it was caught on camera. But the lad was like in a trance. But there was drugs on the, every time they cooked the food, because the cameraman says to me, why are you eating the food they're eating? Because it's special food. Now, when they say it's special food, it usually means that there's the stuff added to it. They all had different food to what would be cooked for the lads.
Yeah. And so they were dragging them with food or drinks?
Because they all had bunks, you know, like they're like bunk type beds. All the kids sleep on, it was like a corridor type of thing, and both sides of these, they're like hammocks, you know, they sleep
Hammocks?
on hammocks, yeah. They sleep on hammocks.
What, the kids?
Yeah, and then you go on, there's some rooms, there ain't that many rooms, it's a big yacht, big sailboat, I don't know what you call it a yacht, but there was a couple of cabins, like rooms, probably 3 or 4, and this is where the people like I could stay, and the other people would stay and stuff, people who paid to go, because some people paid to be there, and the kids, they could come and they could get hold of any of the kids, that they could take them to the...
Right, so that was it, but you also told me that David Icke, you spent the night with David Icke, and you slept with him one night.
Not on the boat.
Where was that?
That was BBC parties when I was younger.
Right,
I
so
never actually,
what
well
happened?
no, David Dyke had me fucked on the boat, but as far as I know, he never touched me on the boat, because I saw the films afterwards.
What do you mean he had you fucked on the boat?
You got all the lads to get hold of me with the camera, and the other cameraman filmed it and everything. So, and then they pulled me down on the floor and everything, and then undressed me, and they got the lads, like including the girls, because there was in this trance sort of thing, but I was put in a trance while I was filming it. He's so clever, so I went along with it, and we were all in it. He's so good at it, like. We were like all in the trance.
So was he controlling it all? David
Icke? He controlled it all, because it's like a big kid. He controlled it all. It was a power, because he had control over all of us on that boat and everything.
Does it, right, so now, you know what I mean?
But it
It's
does your
just
mind.
difficult, isn't it?
It does your mind. It is, because if there was the Antichrist or the devil, it'd be like the devil, you know.
Well, that's scary, because that's the complete opposite of what he tries to put across. If you know,
and you thought why he tries to put things across, why he launches on people, he launches on to cover himself up, and he plays a good guy and everything. But you haven't been on his TV stuff. I know you could have been, and it makes you think you could have been. You would have never been on a show with him.
Well, what it was with me with David Icke, I had done a couple of interviews with him quite a few years ago when we first started attacking this subject via film, you know, rather than going to continue into the film world of film drama. I decided to, you know, for many reasons, to put my skills into what I do, you know, and I done 2 interviews, I believe, with David Icke, and then he asked me if I could do a film for him, if I would like to do a film at his one of his, you know, exhibitions, I suppose. I think it was the Brixton Academy. And I'm in shock, Andy, really, you know what I mean? This is really difficult, man. You know, I'm verging on stuttering. But after that, I didn't see or hear anything of David Icke. And then Sonia Porton told me that whenever my name came up, David Icke would get very agitated, and he would say very loudly, "I'm not sure about Bill Maloney." Now, I've told you this, Andy, but I'd like to tell it to you, the audience. Jimmy Savile wrote a book. It was called Stranger Danger. He wrote a few of them actually, and it was to warn kids of paedophilia and how to avoid paedophiles and dirty old men. Now, he called that book Stranger Danger. Now, that was part of a cover that he would use later on down the line. You know, people would say, he writes books to protect children. He's written books to protect children. He can't be a paedophile. And some people, unfortunately, have used me as their stranger danger. And it's not just David Icke.
Well, I could tell you something about David Icke. He might have left his wife, but his wife keeps claiming of all his finances. She'll stick up for him like no cows. You know, she'll stick up for him. She was never there.
Yeah, but I'm not interested in like a lot of people are talking about David Icke and money. I do not care about money. I'm more interested, really 100% interested, in the fact that if David Icke is a paedophile.
He's a paedophile.
Well,
BBC,
you know,
Jimmy Savile.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't believe it when he got on that boat. We went and picked him up on that boat. I didn't know he was going to be on that boat. He went on that boat when we went to the island to pick him up.
But you spent the night with him, but that was after a BBC party. Where was the BBC party held?
One's London, and a few times he come down to Graham's. There's more than actually 3 times, if I was being honest. It's probably about 5 or 6 times, you know, different times I've seen him and stuff.
What, did you have sexual relations with him each time you saw him?
He went through a little thing where we went. He invited me to come and stay with him in London and stuff like that, and I gave his number and stuff to Nape at the time and stuff. And
What number? His phone number?
his phone number and his address and stuff.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised maybe Mary's forgot about that, or maybe Chris had that information, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's very sad. That's very sad. But there's also a guy who runs and owns, I believe, an online newspaper called Exaro, and his name is Henke.
His bestest friend.
That is David Icke's best friend.
Bestest friend.
His bestest friend.
Well, it used to be his bestest friend. They had a thing going for ages when they were young.
And David Henke, he wrote for The Guardian, didn't he? And David Henke has been asking you about David Icke, hasn't he?
Yeah, I've been asked questions what we're doing and stuff by the newspaper. They've been trying to pry in things, and they are trying to spread a load of stuff which is false.
Yeah, recently, they've been doing that recently, and I'm well aware.
Even this Sunday, before we even know.
Yeah, what's
because Chris has told us.
What's been happening? This is mine and Andy's now. This is the second time he's come down to London, and he stays for a few days, you know, and it's become quite. It's strange. It's almost becoming like a spy novel, if you like. We know that we were followed by the police. That was yesterday at King's Cross Station.
I didn't even know you had people watching, and then until we got out corner.
Yeah, because we had someone watching who was watching us, and it came out a clear result that we were watching. They were watching us, and I saw a police officer on the tube who was following us. Who is Andrew knows who he is. So Andrew knows who you are, but you know, we hope that you are working for good, because
well, I hope he's working for good.
Because we know the project you're working on as well, and you know we don't want to interfere with that. But why you're following us, I don't know. I don't really quite understand it actually.
I wish you'd work with us. I wish you'd work with us instead of treat us like enemies.
Yeah.
Because
but
that's
but in all due respect, Andrew, it's like with the police, the national press, they can't put things out the way they should be put out. Now, we was talking, since we've been talking, you right, let's put it real. What it was on one occasion, David Icke couldn't get his cock into Andrew's arse, so he got Andrew to wank him and suck him off, to suck his cock. Now, you know, I've also been talking about sexually transmitted diseases. You know, we just discovered the human papillomavirus, you know, causes cancers. That's, you know, paedophilia. I believe that, you know, with the human papillomavirus, 100 strains, different strains, we know for certain it's responsible for cervical cancers, penile cancers, anal cancers, and throat cancers, because that's how Michael Douglas got it. He had oral sex with a woman who had the human papillomavirus, and that's how he contracted his throat cancer. So this is now becoming, you know, possibly, what is it? Could it be attempted murder? We need to make people aware of the more stinging attributes to child abuse, don't we, Andrew? You know. Now, David Icke, that's the way I said it just then. That's what he done. He didn't penetrate Andrew, and we don't speak like that. Do we? We don't speak like that, do we?
No. Well,
because when me and Andrew's talking, Andrew says things like, "He sucked his fucking cock in me, Bill."
I tell you.
Or he'd say, "He's a dirty cunt, Bill." But the national media won't allow it, and it seems that Andrew's been passed to the alternative media, and I feel, you know,
Well,
really good about it.
Now, I hope he comes out and tells the truth. And I'll just tell you something. I'm willing to give a lie detector test as long as David Icke's willing to give lie detector test, and we'll see who's telling the truth. But he's not going to give a lie detector test, is he?
Are you offering that challenge?
Well, it's not going to happen. Well, he might do it now, might he, thinking he can, because now he's probably got the power to make things happen.
If David Icke,
well, I'd do the test anyway.
If David Icke doesn't come forward, whether it's because he sees this or whatever, you will take a lie detector test.
Yeah, that is never. If it needs to be asked, have you ever had sex with a child? And if he can answer that 100% and everything, then I'll answer questions and everything about.
Yeah.
Because why shouldn't? He'll only make me look a lot. But I'm 100%. You know, like. It's time for him to come clean. He goes on about God and all this stuff and everything. If he's a true Christian and he turned his way from those things, it's time he comes clean and admits to it. So what if he's gay? So what if he's more into men? He's bisexual, yeah, but we all know that in the past that was a lot of people have. Yeah, he's got a girlfriend, but he's not over all the time living with a guy now in London.
Well, that's it. And also, but what we're saying is that now we've got two very predominant and reasonably powerful people in the alternative media that are best of friends, or were the best of friends, are both paedophiles, prolific paedophiles, and also David Icke with disabled children, Down syndrome children. I'll
tell you something about David Icke seemed to disappear when his own newspaper, the People's thing, not his People, when his own TV channel, Struggling, he disappears the moment that story came out in the paper.
Andrew's talking about the story about the faceless female politician who got Andrew to perform oral sex on her at a party. And at the end of that article, it said that Andrew is being helped by Bill Maloney and Chris Fane. Now, as far as that is concerned, David Icke knew that I was on it and there would be a film involved. And I don't know, you know, because as we're filming this, you know, many of us have really debated long and hard, and I think there's some more debating to go on. But you know, David Icke, you need to come forward as a whistleblower if you're to make amends, because you cannot be fighting for good while you're fucking children?
No, you're
Mate,
hypocrite. Hypocrite.
you cannot be fighting for any kind of good. Now, if you stop that and decided to try and, cleanse yourself of it by doing what you're doing, then that needs to go to the people. The people, the people's voice. And if that's the case, you need to hand over the people's voice to some people that represent the people. Because you have fooled many people, and you've still got a lot around you that have faith, trust, love, etc. Whatever you've tuned into, I don't know, maybe you hypnotised them like you did Andrew and a few others. But you got to stand up now, and that's it really. And I gave you a chance. Actually, I think you're a cunt. I just think you're a dirty, fucking filthy, snotty cunt. And I would really struggle to be in your company. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I think you want to fucking do the right thing one way or another. And you know what I'm fucking talking about. Love ya. God bless you. That'll do, Ed. I love that little dramatic bit at the end. Alright?
I think we've said enough about it.